28 years later, it's not a Jimmy Johnson curse. It's a Jerry Jones curse.
Yeah. Why the fuck is Ric Flair kicking off the Bucks game? You're from North Carolina. You're a Charlotte boy. You named your daughter Charlotte. Whatever. I don't care. That man might die doing his woo in front of the stadium.
Yeah, he popped a vein, has an aneurysm, something like that.
He's like 1,000 years old. Woo! We got a lot today. By the way, I made a lot of posts today about our podcast on TikTok and everything else, and we got a lot of likes. And I was calling people out. If you want to talk shit, come talk shit.
Yeah.
I was like, we respond to every comment, so just come feel free and have a conversation.
I mean, that's kind of what it is, right? It will. The chats can, the comments can morph the chat pretty quickly if we needed to. So.
I'm not, like I said, I want us to grow, and like we can grow at just regular slow pace, or I can just start being a spark plug and calling people out and just grow the most Logan Paul-esque way and just be the loudmouth.
Makes sense.
Except for I'm not going to buy a Bengal tiger and get it confiscated. Welcome in all of you already. Look at these people.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Ready to go. I mean, I was talking to Boogie already, but she sent me a video of one of my favorite TikTokers, and he was doing the "Here We Go" thing. By the way, Jordan Love said "Here we go" right before the final kneel down yesterday, and that made me laugh.
Listen, I mean, he can do that. He's a better quarterback.
Hey, Ric Flair is about Jason Kelsey's age, so you got to be worried here. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I don't even understand him being a Bucs fan. I really don't. It's going to bother me all day. I'm going to have to look it up. Either that or they just paid to put him out there because he'll take any type of money. He left WWE. I mean, I know he's been gone for a while from wrestling, but like he went to AEW now, and when he signed with them, he's not even getting paid. He just wants them to use his Woo Energy sponsorship, and he'll work for them for free as long as they use his Woo Energy. And I was like, all right. So Ric Flair's just selling himself at this point.
Apparently, he's always been a fan of the Bucs. He even in the Tony Dungy era, he was on the sidelines.
All right. Hey, be a fan that you want to be.
Yeah,
they didn't even. I didn't even know Tim Allen was at the game yesterday.
You can be a fan of whoever you want to be. That's how Cowboys end up with fans.
Yeah, and then they're insane. But we'll get there. We got a lot of football to talk about. We're going to talk about college football first. Caleb Williams and Maserati Marv have both finally declared. Maserati Marv was on Friday. We didn't talk about it yesterday, but we can talk about it today. And then Caleb Williams today at 5:30, 2.5 hours before the deadline, finally declared. So the underclassmen have to have had declared by 3 minutes ago. So the list will be fully out at some point tomorrow, and I'm curious to go over it. But Caleb Williams now, according to Adam Schefter, is now expected to be the number 1 overall pick. No longer is it Drake May. No longer is it enter name here because a bunch of names have rotated through the past few days. Now, we know NFL teams way too heavily look into the combine, so somebody could come out and have a phenomenal combine and jump Caleb Williams, which is always hilarious to me because the combine really means nothing unless you're just measuring speed, which really, again, you're in shorts and T-shirts, so it's not like you're in pads. Realistically, the only thing I give a shit about the combine is the 3-cone drill because I need to know how fast offensive linemen can shuttle, and I care about offensive linemen's bench press. I was
going to say, outside of that, you're really, like, the 40 is straight, like you said, straight line running with no pads on. Like, it's okay to gauge some things, but it's not going to improve somebody's draft status remarkably. And with the quarterbacks, I'd rather, like, they're like, pro day is more useful than anything else.
100%. No, combine's the most overrated thing ever. It's why Jamarcus Russell became the number 1 pick because he had a phenomenal combine. It doesn't actually teach you much. Yeah. It's why Ryan Leaf almost beat Peyton Manning for the number 1 pick because he had a better combine than Peyton Manning, and he almost leapfrogged him in the draft, but Colt stuck to it and took Peyton. But But that's all coming up. The Senior Bowl and the other bowl, I can't think of the name, are coming up. Did you get snow today? Sorry for the all football. You can ask any questions. We're supposed to get, according to Foots, 3 to 5 inches throughout the night. We have about a half inch right now. And it's snowing. Me and Cloud played in the snow for a couple minutes just before we went live.
Yeah, we didn't get any snow today.
Yeah, this area of Maryland and Virginia are actually supposed to get all the snow. And I'm like, yeah. We're getting it all right now, and I'm taking it. I'm loving it. Yeah, so we got a little bit of snow. But the question is, now Caleb Williams is now officially declared. Do the Bears like him more than Justin Fields? Like you said to me the other day when you texted me, they fired their offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach, which is either a sign of we want to get Fields the right guy and we're going to stick with him, or we're going to get a new guy to work with Caleb Williams that might be more willing to work with a rookie quarterback. Because a lot of coaches don't like working with rookie quarterbacks. They're panicky and they make dumb mistakes and get in their head. So you have to get the right guys to do that. They might be trying to do that. I don't know. They've got to be nervous. The quarterback farm of Green Bay is clearly alive and kicking still. So they got to figure out something. But we got a lot of football, a lot of big boy football to talk about. And before we get into the games, I was wrong yesterday when I said the Bills have a lease on their current stadium. I did not realize, because I knew the Titans were opening a new stadium, which is also outdoors.
But they're doming theirs, right?
No, it is an open roof stadium again. At least in the pictures I saw. I don't know. I tried to find actual pictures of it. But I did not realize the Bills also have a new stadium planning to open in 2026 for the start of 2026's season. And that stadium will not be a dome either. As the owners said, part of the element of their home field advantage is playing in the elements in Buffalo. So they're sticking to it. I've been trying to get images of the new Titan Stadium, but I just keep getting pictures of where it's at. It looks like it might be a retractable roof.
The new Nissan Stadium will be enclosed.
Yeah, it looks like it's a retractable roof because there's a picture here with it open in one of the
No. They actually have, since that has come out. It said the roof will not be retractable because it came with costly maintenance and it really wasn't used much.
Yeah, retractable roofs are really expensive. You've got to be in the right places for it. All right, so they're going to have a dome, but the Bills will not. The Bills will keep their elements, and I don't know. I looked into Arrowhead and Lambeau, and Arrowhead and Lambeau are probably never going to get rebuilt or moved, as they're both historic stadiums to their city and team. So, but no, the Buffalo thing was shocking because I thought maybe this might be the time. I'm not a fan of it. We all know I love outdoor games. I love the weather. I loved watching today's game in the cold weather, knowing it influenced some of the catches and the kicks. Apparently the refs, because their brains weren't functioning fully in today's game. But Buffalo's sticking with it. Seemingly winter is getting later and later, so maybe it only impacts playoff games nowadays, because they didn't really have really much snow during the regular season lately.
So, like the Titans said the reason they're doming their stadium is so that it can be used for other things in the offseason.
Okay.
So, like, they want to be able to use it as a venue for concerts, whatever, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Nashville's a real popular place to go. So.
Which makes sense. You'd think Buffalo would want to do that because it's Buffalo in the summer.
They use the Sabres probably. I don't know. The new stadium actually has 10,000 less seats than the new stadium, than the current stadium for the new Bills Stadium.
Yeah, jack up them ticket prices, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say those prices are about to rise significantly. Yeah, they said it's 60,000, and they said right now the Buffalo Bills hold about 71,000. So that'll be interesting. It's the first time I've heard of a team that sells out going to lower seats.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But because they sell out every game, so it just doesn't make sense to me. But
I also don't understand why we don't have any like bigger stadiums, like 100,000 seat stadiums.
Yeah, it's crazy when you AEW claimed they broke the record, but they didn't actually break the record for most seats, like most fans in attendance at a wrestling event ever. And it was at Wembley, and I was like, well, that's probably where you got to do it because they had like 108,000 people or 120,000 people. I was like, you can't do that in the U.S. The biggest stadium, I think, in the U.S., and I could be wrong here, but might be AT&T Stadium. Might have the most seats. I again could be wrong. I haven't Googled that in a long time, but
I guess it's really based on the. So teams really build their stadiums far beyond the 80,000 seat threshold because of the league's blackout policy. So any televising of the NFL game within 75 miles. So within 75 miles.
Yeah, because I can't get like if I was to turn on Sunday Ticket, if I ever had Sunday Ticket, I wouldn't be able to watch the Commanders, the Eagles, the Steelers, or the Ravens games because I'm right in the middle of that sweet spot where I get all of them within the 75-mile-an-hour range. So I'd have to watch on my local TV. But yeah, I don't know. I would love to see us build a really big ass stadium. Mercedes-Benz might be another big one. I don't know. They're playing one of the World Cup games there. At least one of the locations for the World Cup games is Mercedes-Benz. Again, I know Lincoln Financial will be as well.
Yeah. I don't know.
But at the end of the night, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying all I could think of. I feel like they could probably make bigger stadiums and be fine.
Yeah. Mazed LA Coliseum, or not LA Coliseum, sorry. Whatever the fuck the Chargers and Rams play wasn't built
SoFi
bigger.
Stadium?
Yeah, it didn't have more seating. Granted, that's more like a luxury event. Like there's some luxury ass seating there, which takes up some space.
Yeah.
All right, so we got games to talk about. At the end of the night, I'm going to talk about, and Dot can pitch in, and everyone else go ahead and let me know your opinions because it's a very hot topic. But after we talk about the games, I want to talk about the injuries in the NFL based around the rule changes because me and my buddy Mike from New York did some research today because we were talking about the hit on Higbee, and it really triggered my buddy Mike, really triggered him about how we're continuing to act like these hits are the legal hits because they are. But they're the problem. But we'll talk about that more in depth tonight. If you hear Harley whining, I'm sorry. He thinks he's a lot wider than he is. He's really not a wide dog. But so he doesn't like to jump up on the couch because he thinks the table's too close. And I have to like encourage him to the point where he finally goes, fine, I'll do it. But he like starts, backs up, and then starts whining because he's like, I can't do it.
I actually Pancake does that with so my room's in the basement and there's a set of stairs. And the door at the top can be open, and she'll sit at the bottom of the stairs until I walk over there, and she'll whine. She'll sit at the bottom, looking up the stairs, waiting for me to go step onto one stair, and then she'll go up. She won't go up otherwise.
Dogs.
So I'm like, okay.
Dogs. Lovely animals. But anyway, all right, so the first game of the playoffs wound up being Browns, Texans. We hinted a little bit around it yesterday, but the Texans slaughtered the Browns. It was a good game. Fuck. Wait, what? Why? I hate Twitch. Hold on.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, it doesn't actually. You bleeped that out yourself. Why would you do that to me? Fuck off, Matthew. Jared is here to stay. Lions Super Bowl. Okay, well, let's not go to the Super Bowl.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
You guys couldn't cover a rookie wide receiver. I got a little bit of concerns for the Lions secondary if they play, I don't know, Ayuk and Deebo Samuel.
I guess this is what is it? This is, so the Lions are probably going through what Dallas used to go through back in like the early 90s. You know what I mean? When you get your first taste of playoff victory, you start, really getting going. So just pump the brakes a little bit,
and you can just say what they go with. The Cowboys fans are like right up till the playoffs start. We're going to the Super Bowl. Look at our season, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Bite the kneecap of the Super Bowl trophy. Maybe the Super Bowl trophy presenter.
Although that was my favorite quote to come out of the weekend was when Dan Campbell threw the ball to Jared Goff and said, Jared Goff's good enough for Detroit.
Legendary line.
Actually, I believe he said Jared Goff is fucking good enough for Detroit.
Yes, he did. And yes, he is. But, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown said on a podcast on Friday that they did not want to play the Packers in the playoffs, and the Packers are still alive. So, I mean, we're probably not alive after this weekend, but, you know, like Dot said yesterday, CJ Stroud said, we're dumb enough to not know we don't belong here, and maybe Green Bay's living with that because –
yeah, baby. One of my favorite lines of all time. Knowledge of non-knowledge is power.
But anyway, the Browns got smoked. It was a good game until Joe Flacco decided to throw to the Texans more than his own team for a couple minutes.
He was actually, you know, he was prone to that if you go back and look at the games. Like, he did that quite often.
Chewy, I love you. But you guys beat us week 5 in Lambeau and then lost on Thanksgiving to Green Bay in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day in the biggest upset statistically about point spread in Thanksgiving game history in Ford Field. So I'd want to play. I'd want to play over in Lambeau if I was you. No, I mean, I don't think we're going to get past San Francisco. And I said it to Boogie today. If the Eagles somehow, even though walking into the stadium, they look dead, they've just had no energy today. And Jason Kelsey, as she said today, sounded like he is about done. He did not sound motivated very much. He said, I'm just focusing on my last game tomorrow. And then he went back and said, our last game tomorrow. And I was like, well, it might not be your last. But anyway, San Francisco or Detroit, most likely. Detroit's defense scares me against, like, how you guys are going to stop Ayuk, McCaffrey, and Deebo Samuel just without really much of a pass rush to get to Purdy is just hard for me to picture. Now, Detroit might be a year away from a Super Bowl. They get a secondary and one more pass rusher to help out Aiden Bustison on the other side. Then maybe they can really make a push. Last guaranteed game. Okay. I couldn't remember exactly how he worded it. But for now, I'd have to say the Niners still have to be the favorite. Like I said, I picked the Packers to lose to the Cowboys. I'm definitely taking them to lose to the Niners. Though I do find it funny we opened with a bigger dog again. 7.5 point, we beat it. Now we're at 10 point. Harley,
well, the 7.5. I mean, it's 7.5 for teams that actually win in the playoffs. For Dallas, 7.5 is a handicap. I don't know.
As Cat Williams says, they just tee off from the freaking front white tees.
I don't think there's I don't think there's a shot. I mean, Packers could beat San Fran. Brock Purdy will have to be throwing the ball blindfolded for that to happen, but you never know.
Yeah, we can't stop the run, and we're playing the best running back in the NFL.
So, and a team who runs the ball like either the most or second most times per game in the NFL. So,
yeah. So, but anyway, so CJ Stroud goes out, puts up a 157.2 quarterback rating. Literally tied for the best quarterback performance of the weekend, quarterback rating wise, with Mr. Jordan Love. Both had a 157.2. They were actually statistically even with each other. Same amount of completions, same amount of attempts, same amount of touchdowns. Literally, the difference was 2 yards. Love it. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dice is the Browns defense, who we've mentioned on this podcast might be legit, but they're not great on the road. And Myles Garrett and his boy, who said he's defensive player of the year or co-defensive player of the year with, both had their one pressure and no other attempts of anything in this game. Stroud looked, I mean, I said it in the post I made on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything to promote this tonight. People can get mad. people can go, oh, he's not the MVP, so you can't say he's the best. But right now, I would take him this day and right now, just for this rest of the season, I would take him over anyone else's play. I would take the way he's playing over any other quarterback.
CJ Stroud?
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
At this moment, now, I would take him over every other quarterback in the moment.
Maybe the only person I'd probably consider is Lamar.
I would consider Lamar because of what he does with his legs, but statistically, he is not throwing the ball. He has not been that superb this year.
Yeah, and I guess you'd have to look at your offense and what you want to run, but throwing the ball, CJ Stroud 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, those two are the only. I know Mahomes fans are going to be like, "Look what he did against the Dolphins." All right, chill.
Like his first throw back, right? His first throw back from the injury was a 72-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, you take one look at that, you see he comes back from a concussion, and
I would put Love in the conversation, but he doesn't have the big arm and touch that Stroud has. Love is great, but he doesn't have that ability to do exactly what Dot just mentioned, the 72-yard ball over the top touch.
Yeah, like that ball was thrown on a rope, and it was pinpoint accuracy. Like, it was dead on.
Love is up there right now, the way he's playing. I mean, he's literally statistically been the best quarterback since week 12. He has the highest quarterback rating in the NFL since week 12. So I can't take anything away from Love. But just the deep ball presence of what Love can do versus what Stroud can do, I'd still just take Stroud slightly over him. Again, Goff too, but Goff makes too many mistakes.
And the funny thing is, if you go back,
we could have torched Miami's defense and negative. Yeah, I mean, we could literally put 11 people together for like me, Dot, Tesco, you, and a couple people from your Discord, and we could probably play offense against that defense.
I mean, I wouldn't want to torch him because I'd want to keep it -4 or below. So maybe we bring some ice or something and put him on ice. But yeah, no, I think with CJ Stroud, what people forget is like you can go back to that Ohio State game in the playoffs. And people forget about his athleticism. Like, he just doesn't run because he prefers to throw. But he has the ability to run.
Yeah. It's kind of like Herbert. Herbert doesn't run that often, but when he does, he can run.
Yeah, like he can get you those first downs, but he's not trying to be like a game breaker that way, but he still has the ability to do it well.
Yeah. But no, I'm beyond blown away with what I saw out of the Texans. The Browns, me and Dot talked about it personally off the air yesterday after the show and through text. Their $240 million mistake might come back and bite them, and they might regress terribly next year with him at the quarterback position.
Oh, I mean, but that's what happens. They tied this. I think I said it to you in a text. I was like, well, that's the last time we'll see the Browns in the playoffs for the next 6 to 10 years.
Right?
Hold on. It's just
I'm going to Google something.
$240 million guaranteed to, serial
massage enthusiast.
illegitimate son of Robert Kraft. Just, it doesn't, they're not going to be able to do anything. And when Myles Garrett takes a look around and that defense takes a look around, they're not really like a destination for players. So what are they going to do?
And to add to it, he's not taking the typical athlete rookie quarterback route by running into he's staying. Yeah, no, 100%. He's not trying to. Yeah, he's not trying to do more than he has to. And he's doing it with, receivers that were literal garbage last year, and he's elevated all of them. Except for Tank Dell, obviously, who was a rookie, but everyone else has been elevated by Stroud. So, unbelievable. People think I'm crazy when I say I'm more worried about the Texans than I am the Chiefs. Chiefs fans think that's the most crazy sentence ever, but I'd rather play the Chiefs than I would the Texans.
Dude, like, he said it in his own interview. He literally said, we're so dumb, we don't even know we're not supposed to be here. Like, we're just playing with house money. Like, they're fine. And that is scary because he also has this ability, and you've seen it in the games where he hasn't played well. He has the great ability when he makes a mistake or when the team makes a mistake to immediately bounce back. Like he throws a pick and it's a bad pick. He just comes out and doesn't care. And that's a great ability as long as you're not throwing 5 of those a game.
Yeah. And he's only thrown 5 on the season.
Yeah. Like it's weird. And I think with them growing the way they have this season and him having a lot of success early, I think next year you'll really see it that like they're just going to uncork it all the time.
Yeah, and they can get a receiver with the pick from the Browns. They can get another receiver to put next to Nico Collins and Tank Dell.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I would be doing. I know their defense still needs a little bit of work and maybe their offensive line, but go get another receiver. Just give CJ Stroud all the weapons and then build the rest of the draft second round and on through defense. But with that being said, to add to the Browns situation, we'll talk about it more in the offseason stuff because we're going to evaluate all the things the offseason teams need to do in the offseason. But to evaluate what the Browns have an issue of, not only the quarterback, Nick Chubb coming off this injury will be good to go at the start of the season, but I don't know whose side this is on, but there's an out in his contract, either player or team. I have no idea at the end of the season. And even if they don't take it, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. So they've got to figure out how to pay Nick Chubb. Myles Garrett, I think, has already been paid, and you already are paying Deshaun Watson it's a non-team friendly deal after the first year. So it's going to get interesting. But Nick Chubb potentially becoming a free agent. Amari Cooper has 1 year left. 2024 is his final year. I don't know about Njoku, who became a beast with Joe Flacco, but
yeah, that's kind of a.
You don't pay a running back to win a Super Bowl.
Njoku's on a 4-year deal that started in 2022.
There you go. So they've got him for a while. I would agree with that, Chewy. I agree with that, but McCaffrey might kind of change that message a little bit.
No, only McCaffrey. Only McCaffrey. Like Eckler's not getting paid.
No, but Kyren Williams might.
Yeah, Kyren Williams.
In a couple of years. That dude is holy crap, he came out of nowhere. But no, you can't pay a running back. You really shouldn't be paying the quarterback $60 million. Realistically, you need to build a little bit more than that. And I think we see that. Look at all the teams left. Who's getting paid besides Jalen Hurts?
Mahomes.
Oh, yeah, okay. I kind of forgot they're left because I'm expecting them to get eliminated. And Josh Allen.
Allen.
The AFC teams. The NFC teams, you got Goff getting paid a little bit, but then you got Baker getting paid nothing, Jordan Love getting paid nothing, Brock Purdy getting paid nothing. Like, the NFC teams aren't paying their quarterbacks that are currently in the playoffs, and the AFC teams are loaded with people paying. And then the Cowboys might pay Dak Prescott $55 million a year.
Yeah, let's do that.
Which we'll get to when we get to the Cowboys game. We're gonna go real into depth about the Cowboys situation. But anyway, Texans move on. We now know that they play the Baltimore Ravens next week in a game that might be the best game of the playoffs. I don't know. Bill
Is that the Saturday 4:30 game?
Saturday at 4:30, Baltimore, Kansas City, in Baltimore. Or not Kansas City, Baltimore and Houston, in Baltimore. They played each other to start the year. It was C.J. Stroud's debut game in the NFL this year. So a lot of things have changed since then. I'm actually pulling up the weather for Saturday just out of pure curiosity since we're getting snow on and off all week. 23 degrees is the high on Saturday, but no snow in M&T Bank area.
Right now, as it stands, Baltimore is getting 9 points.
They're a 9-point favorite, or
yeah.
12 with a 3-point swing. Jesus Christ. Tampa's up 3-0. Oh, I didn't even see the field goal.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tampa's up 3-0, but they kind of moved the ball on the Eagles. But I wouldn't expect them to get a touchdown considering in the first quarter they have 3 touchdowns all year.
Yeah, unless they're throwing to Mike Evans in the first quarter, I think he's all three of them.
Yeah.
They just tend not to score. That's amazing that the Ravens are a 9-point favorite this weekend. I know they look like the best team in the country right now, but that 2 weeks off for Lamar might be kryptonite for the Baltimore Ravens.
I always worry about teams in this long layoff. I really do.
We haven't seen it in history work very well, and especially when you took the week before the bye week. They are getting Mark Andrews back, which I didn't know he was eligible. I did not know he was able to come back.
I didn't either. I thought he was going to be done for the year.
But good for him. Activated, ready to go. He's going to play, and we'll see what that looks like. But the next Saturday game was a shit show. I don't know. It was a freeze fest. It was more fun to watch the things about what's going on in the stadium with the temperatures than it was to watch the game.
Yeah, the game was boring.
Miami sucks. They're a spineless team that can't play with any physicality. There's not a single physical player on that team. Like, even if their edge rushers were in, Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are speed guys. Again, they're just not. They don't have physical players. I don't know. It doesn't work.
They don't have physical players, and then add that cold, so they don't want to touch anybody.
Yeah, and then you add the fact that Tua is an undersized quarterback who doesn't throw the best strong arm ball, and in that cold with that wind, you got to throw a strong ball.
And you saw it a couple times where the Kansas City Chiefs guys were open beyond defenders, and the ball just didn't get there.
I wouldn't make the Ravens 9 point. That's what they're at. I think the Ravens still win. Like right now in my mind, I think the Ravens win, but I don't think it's a 9-point game. I really think this could come down to a game-winning field goal or like a defensive stand to end the game. I don't think it's going to be a 2-score game. I just think both teams are really freaking good right now. But I just worry about that. I really do worry about the 2 weeks off. I am not a fan of the bye week as it is. And then when you give your quarterback the extra bye week, it don't look so hot. In history, the quarterbacks have always struggled in the first half of games when they get the bye week. And I know it's only the first half, but the Ravens are a team where in the second half, they don't play that well. So
you're not wrong.
About it. Did you see John say something about how scouting is allowed in the NFL?
Oh, yes. How they can advance scout. You can send guys to the stadium ahead of time. He said that in his because he said some of his guys on the way to go scout got delayed because of the weather. And he was like, and by the way, in the NFL, that is allowed.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's funny that he's the one that made the comment just because we know what his brother's going through.
Well, that's why he said it, right? Like,
okay, yeah, I figured as much. But speaking of his brother, I didn't mention this. Jim had Jalen's playing. I don't know how they've gotten away with it because he's not on the injury report any week, but the dude is playing hurt. There is for sure an injury on Jalen Hurts. I have not seen the same Jalen Hurts. He's not willing to run like he used to be. He's not throwing the pretty ball down the field like he did last year. There's something off. Granted, that throw he was hit. His arm was hit as he was releasing, so it takes away a little bit of the touch. So we'll see.
And here's the other thing about that. If he is hurt, the dude's getting paid. Like his contract is. What's the sense of not putting it out there? It wouldn't make any sense, right? Like,
Chewy Jim's gone. He's gone. Look, so I think he already breached the contract opportunity from the Wolverines. In the contract, it said he wasn't allowed to interview for coaching jobs.
But the AD came out and said he expected at least 5 phone calls from NFL teams.
Okay, so I guess they're just going to accept it anyway. But he interviewed with the Chargers today. I haven't heard anyone else yet.
He's got to go. I know the Cowboys were expecting him next week.
Jesus Christ, we're going to wait a week?
Where else was he? Oh, sorry, not the Cowboys. Raiders next week.
Spineless University. Yeah.
Well,
The
he kind of
Raiders?
has to.
Dude, just take AP. Just take Antonio Pierce and just settle it down and let the Raiders stay intact. Max Crosby is dead serious about asking for a trade if they don't sign Antonio Pierce as the head coach.
Oh, I fully believe he's gone if they don't sign AP.
And Devontae Adams, when Max Crosby made a tweet about it, Devontae Adams tweeted a little eyeball emoji, and I'm like, dude, if you lose both of them because of this,
Because
Mark
your
Davis
owner's dumb.
Who the fuck is Lincoln Riley at this game? He might be from Tampa. I really don't know where he's from. I just was curious. I was like, wait, why are they showing a USC's coach at this game in Tampa?
He's trying to pick up tips on how to stop the pass. He's at this game, as you can tell from his defense.
I mean, he did produce Baker Mayfield, so maybe he's just there to support Baker. Let's see. Yeah, he's from Lubbock, Texas. So I don't know. Hurts is playing. Well, he has fingers taped up too, but I mean his ankle or his knee. Something ain't right with his fucking plant. When I watch his plant foot, it does not look correct, and he doesn't run as, like I said, he's not willing to run. I think he's just playing banged up. I mean, it's a long season for these guys, and you're not allowed to hit high anymore, so everybody's got leg injuries, whether they admit it or not, even if it's like a bone bruise or a calf, feeling fucked up. It sucks. I hope the Raiders fuck it up. I don't care one way or the other. Actually, you know what? I hope they continue to screw up, so eventually maybe the league will try and push out Mark Davis. I hate that dude. Anyway, so Saturday night's game really wasn't much to talk about. I don't know. Travis Kelce looked pretty decent, minus 3 drop passes, which is crazy in one game. 3 drop passes from Travis Kelce.
Listen, we got to keep that number up, all right?
Yeah, I mean, no one else was dropping the ball. Rashee Rice looked phenomenal. Apparently, the Dolphins didn't get the memo. You're supposed to cover Rashee Rice. He went for like 160 yards or some shit, 140. But good for him. Good for a rookie to see him blow up like this. The Chiefs Patrick Mahomes is starting to feel really comfortable with him, which might help them against the Bills. I don't know.
Like Rashee Rice is now a 1, right? He's not a high end 1, but he's a 1 for Kansas City.
Yeah, he's a 1 that if they went out and got a legit like Mike Evans, he would be a good 2.
Right. Yeah, he would
be
probably
phenomenal too.
He's in the list of NFL wide receivers that would be a 1. He's probably around 10, right?
Yeah.
But if they can do that again in the draft, because the rest of their guys are 3s, I would say.
That's generous.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ones with hands. But
if Sky Moore was healthy, I'd say they at least have a 3.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So that's what they are, and that's okay because you have Mahomes as your quarterback. But they'll need another wide receiver in Kansas City. Now I think what's interesting is what this game leads to with tonight's result.
Buffalo, Kansas City. In Buffalo, the 2 teams that have played each other in the playoffs almost every season, it feels like. Josh Allen versus Mahomes again, but it's the first time we'll get Josh Allen versus Mahomes in the playoffs in Buffalo.
And Mahomes first outside of, like a Super Bowl road playoff game.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy when you think about all the aspects to this, but Mahomes' first ever road game. The Eagles defense is playing about as good as the Cowboys defense. It's 10-0. Nobody wanted to tackle him. I don't know. James Bradbury.
Wait, the Eagles team does make tackles?
James Bradbury's a top 7 paid corner, and he just got fleeced by David Moore. David fucking Moore. Sirianni, just go find a couch somewhere because you're not coming back.
Yeah. You know what? Him and McCarthy probably are going to need.
Safety ran into the corner in coverage. That's good.
Him and McCarthy are going to need to find a nice bar somewhere.
Talk about where it all went wrong. All right. So the Chiefs play the Bills in what's going to be a really exciting game next Sunday. It's the last game of the playoffs, 6:30. The last game of next week's playoffs, 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. pumped about it. I'm really pumped. I think it's going to be a really fun game. No weather expected in Buffalo, but it's expected to be in the teens. So it should be a cold, good game. Josh Allen historically is really good in cold games, so this should be fun.
Yeah, this will be the what we hope will be one of like the out of the games, the premier game, right? You're seeing like the best of the best against each other.
Yeah, I think the AFC has the best matchups for sure, automatically now, because the winner of this gets Detroit. I think Detroit handles either of these teams, and San Francisco should handle the Packers pretty easily. But Baltimore, Houston, and then Kansas City, Buffalo are both really freaking good games. So the AFC has nice treats for us next week. But like you said, this should be the best of the best as far as quarterback versus quarterback, team versus team. The legacy these two teams have had against each other the past 6 years. Just it's so much excitement involved in this game. But all right, so we go to Sunday. And bear with us because this first game Sunday is going to take a while. So I didn't believe we were good enough. I even said that this is the only team I didn't think could pull out a blowout the whole weekend. But holy crap, the Packers blew the brakes off the Cowboys. And I know what the score said, 48-36 or whatever the hell it wound up, 34 or whatever.
Yeah, with 6 minutes left, the Cowboys needed 4 touchdowns and 4 2-point conversions just to tie the game.
Yeah, we just started. Well, we even put Sean Clifford in for a while. Like we were like, it's over. And we put in backup corners and it was just a complete shit show. And then when they actually started to come back, we still kept playing prevent defense with the starters. Like it was just letting them back in the game as much as they could, but there was no shot. Dak's stats got padded.
Oh, that was one of my favorite comments after the game was Dak Prescott going, yeah, I kind of got going a little late. Bro, that's empty calories. Empty calories. He's the best garbage time quarterback in the league.
That's what Richard Sherman said. Richard Sherman was like straight up empty calories. And then I heard Shannon Sharp say it today. Like,
just, it's so bad. Like, there was no shot. Like, that was.
When it was 21-0, I was like, they're going to come back. There's no way.
That was a blowout in every sense of the word. And that at the final score doesn't tell you the real story. Like, I hate that.
But so the worst part is you have, and I know he's an idiot, and he was an idiot as a head coach, and he's just a plain moron. But you have Rex Ryan today on the air going, you can't blame Dak Prescott. He had 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bro,
yeah.
Did you watch the game?
At half, he had like 146 yards and 2 interceptions.
87.
87
yards at halftime.
87 and 2 interceptions. 1 was a pick 6. So don't tell me he played good. Like, you can't tell me that.
But Rex Ryan tried to argue it on the air today. I was like, you're so dumb, dude. Like, he's dumb all the time, but super dumb. I was like, dude, come on, man. Then you have Michael Irvin.
He can't be that dumb. He did turn a foot fetish into a Dr. Scholl's sponsorship. So,
and then you have Michael Irvin this morning blaming the pick 6 on Mike McCarthy and said it wasn't Dak's fault.
CD Lamb had to be calmed down by people on the team because he was so pissed off about where Dak was throwing the ball, even when he caught it.
The first 3 throws to CD Lamb was bounced into the dirt, thrown over his head to be caught by a coordinator on the sideline, and then thrown out of bounds ahead of him, 2 yards ahead of him. Like, he was just off with CD the whole day. Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. So that's just Dak we're talking about. Okay, this is what people don't understand about Dallas. They are 16-0 in their last 16 home games, except when it comes to the playoffs. And where was that Dallas defense yesterday? How many sacks did they have?
Did they get any? I don't even know.
None. Did they have any takeaways? None.
Played clean football.
Yeah, they got pushed all around. And
what did I ask for? Stephon Gilmore covered Christian Watson, and thank you, sir, because Deron Bland got fleeced by Romeo Doubs all game long. And I was like, cool. You guys burnt your coverage on Christian's stupid-ass Watson, so thank you for that. But then, like I've said, Micah Parsons in the big moment vanishes into thin air. Just one pressure. He got one pressure the whole game.
Dude, Aaron Jones had 3 TDs all year long. He had 3 in this game. They couldn't stop the run.
Yeah. Well, because their best player on defense is Micah Parsons, and he's terrible against the run.
He's actually a hindrance against the run.
Yeah, PFF has him ranked the 3rd worst player at his position against the run.
Because he overcommits.
Yeah, he just uses his speed. He thinks his speed is everything. He doesn't know that there is actual finesse and power and inside moves to stop the run. Like, he just thinks I can run right past the outside of the tackle and I'll get to the running back. Nope, because the running back's going to cut to the inside of the tackle and you're going to be gone.
Yeah,
now, I mean, look, McCarthy is also to blame. I'm not trying to take it away from the guy. I mean, the Packers might have.
You just blow this whole thing up. Blow it up.
Yeah, the Packers might have fired Mike McCarthy twice, but as Richard Sherman said, and I kind of feel like I agree, you kind of have to deal with Dak and sign Dak. And I know it's not worth the money that they're going to sign him for, but who can you get? Can you risk drafting a guy? Do you think Trey Lance is really the guy? Or, like, there's not going to be anyone in free agency. And I know what Dak does in the regular season doesn't matter in the postseason, but I don't know. Can you get a coach that can maybe elevate him in the postseason, or maybe just build a better running game so you don't have to use Dak much in the postseason? Let him become a game manager.
The Cowboys need to do to Dak what the Vikings are doing with Kirk Cousins and what the Chargers did with Austin Eckler, and go, here's what we're offering you. If you'd like more, go to the market.
I mean, it's fair.
He is Kirk Cousins, but worse.
Yeah.
Like $30 million, fine. I'm not paying him more. I'm not paying him 40. I'm not paying him 45. I'm not. I'd rather pay Baker.
I agree. I'd
rather pay Baker.
Yeah, I could take 25 to 30 with today's market. I would never really say that, but with today's market, that's. Again, but ESPN today said they don't believe Jordan Love will get more than Dak, and I agree with that. But right now, I would pay him more than Dak.
And being the Cowboys quarterback, you're going to get some incentives on the side anyways from endorsements and sponsorship. So, like, I'd be like, I'm not paying you top dollar.
Yeah, I agree. But I will say that I think it's interesting. Skip Bayless today said he is done. He's seen enough to know Dak is going to be a problem every postseason, but he'll be great during the regular season. And he goes, that's great, but I want to win a Super Bowl, and I don't think we can do it with Dak Prescott.
Can't do it with Dak Prescott?
Granted, he did make a bold statement and say we should give Trey Lance the shot. And I was like, I wouldn't do that.
Let's not go that far.
I wouldn't do that. But
man, this Cowboys playoff loss that everybody could see coming from a mile away really got these people questioning their life now.
I know.
I saw people burning jerseys. I saw people freaking out saying they're never buying another piece of Cowboys merchandise till Jerry Jones dies. Things like that. Listen, man.
I hate to tell people
this was the most Dallas thing. This was the most Dallas thing that was bound to happen. Like people, like I was telling Matt yesterday, I was like, the outlier would be if they actually make the Super Bowl.
A championship game.
The likelihood is that they don't even win a playoff game, and that's now we're pushing 30 years here.
They haven't been to an NFC title game since 1998.
And here's some good things about Dallas that people don't know. They are 5-13 since 1996 in the playoffs.
There you go.
Only team with 10 losses, more than 10 losses, and 5 or fewer wins in that span. And the Texans have more playoff wins
in Texas.
And they were started in 2002. They have, yes.
Since 2002, the Texans have more wins than the Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually, the Packers have more wins in the Dallas Stadium in the playoffs than the current Dallas team.
You want to hear the craziest stat?
Yeah.
Alabama has more playoff wins in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys have in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah,
They
makes
have
sense.
won 3 playoff games at AT&T Stadium, and the Cowboys have 2.
Makes sense.
I mean that. Come on, Jerry Jones. Like I said, Cowboys fans can blame Mike McCarthy for this entire thing, like Michael Irvin is doing. You can be realistic, like Skip Bayless is trying to be a little bit, where he's saying it's a whole team effort. Micah Parsons sucked. Dak Prescott sucked. The whole defense. He blamed Deron Bland. He blamed Mike McCarthy. Skip was the most realistic I've heard him in a long time today. But I thought it was funny because this is my favorite segment of today. Richard Sherman said, first off, he mentioned the fact that Tyler Smith, their left tackle, and Tyler Biotish, their starting center, are both free agents at the end of the year. But they are worried about having to pay Dak, CD, and Micah Parsons right now, and don't realize that Deron Bland is a free agent at the end of next season. Stephon Gilmore is a free agent at the end of next season. He was breaking it down, and Skip was going, please stop. We don't need to hear any of this because we're just dealing with what happened today. I was like, he's giving you reality. You guys are about to be way worse really fast.
Yeah, they're not. They're not going to be better. Like they're gonna the players are gonna get worse. But I guess it can't really get any worse for them than this because this was their shot. This was their shot.
So 2 more random facts. They're the first ever 2 seed to lose in a wild card game. Since the playoffs have had the seeding, they're the first ever 2 seed to ever lose a wild card game.
I told you Dallas just loves setting records, baby.
And they're the first 12-5 team to have 3 straight 12-5 seasons to not reach an NFC championship game. First time that's ever happened. A 12-5 team hasn't reached a title game in one of those 3 seasons. They're the first time to ever do it. And as Richard Sherman said to Skip today, you've been asking for them to give you a historic season. He goes, they gave it to you. And I was like, yep.
That's one of my favorite thing about Cowboys fans, right? Like how naive they are in the sense that this has been their story for nearly 3 decades.
Oh, Tesco, you like my Aaron Campman jersey? Sorry.
And you still don't believe them. They keep fleecing you.
Hi, Kiwi. Well, as Richard Sherman said, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. He said the Cowboys fans are the definition of insanity. Yeah. They every single year go, this is our year. This is going to be different. And it's the same result every time. He goes, when are you guys going to stop hurting yourselves? You know what?
Maybe if they got Carolina's attendance, they might win a Super Bowl.
I don't pay 40 cents a ticket to go to AT&T Stadium. I'll do it.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm over the moon still that we won, and I'm going to watch Dallas and Philly lose within 24 hours or 30 hours of each other.
I'm just glad I was right. Like, I could, when I said, look at who they've played and the way they beat them at home, you could see that a team like the way the Packers are built could absolutely do this to them. What I think was the most surprising was there was no life out of the Dallas defense. None.
No. Right from the rip.
They quit a quarter in. That's what it looked like.
Like the first drive, we just walked right down the field. I was like, what just happened? It's like, I didn't expect it.
And that's I don't think that's on McCarthy. Like, people are always like, oh, the coach didn't prepare him to play. Bitch, you've known about this game forever. Like, this is what you're going to do when you make the playoffs. Doesn't matter who you play. You're doing preparation on the team you're going to play, but like, you got to be prepared to play every week. And it's like,
Dan Quinn did not have any game plan for the running game. It seemed like he was outgunned by how good Aaron Jones was.
I think that look might have hurt his status moving, you know?
Yeah, I don't think he's getting a coaching job now. I'm pretty sure that just canned it. And if McCarthy gets fired, Quinn's probably going with it. Normally when a coach goes, the whole house gets cleaned. So we'll see. I was amazed we didn't hear McCarthy get fired today. So I guess I'll go another day and we'll see what happens.
I mean, if I would have fired him today.
There's no point on dragging it out.
I
You
mean,
might as well just start getting moving.
you're only hurting yourself if other people start signing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you could maybe use someone like Ben Johnson in Detroit. Granted, he's not going to get signed while Detroit's playing.
Right.
But I don't know. I talked about it last night, and we'll head into that game with this conversation. But Raheem Morris and Aaron Glenn are getting calls, and I as the defensive coordinators of the Rams and Lions, I'm not sure where they're getting calls from. Look, the talent isn't there, so they're doing the best they can with the lack of talent that both units have. Like Raheem Morris has Aaron Donald, and that's nice, but he has literally nothing else around it. Ernest Jones is okay. They've got a couple good rookies on the defensive line that both had 9 sacks this year. I'll give them credit because that's impressive. 2 third-round rookies getting 9 sacks. Good finds. This GM in L.A. with the Rams is crazy good. I mean, Cooper Kupp, 3rd round, Puka Nacua, 5th round. These 2 guys, I don't remember their names, but they, like I said, both had 9 sacks as rookies this year, both 3rd-round picks. I don't know how they're doing it.
Kyron was a 5th rounder, right?
Kyron was a 5th-round pick. Like, I don't know how they're doing this, but they're doing it. They've rebuilt the line with 2nd and 3rd round and 4th round picks. That offensive line's been great.
And guys they've been drafting that aren't in the position they're drafting them in.
Yeah.
They're drafting guards like straight across the board.
Yeah. Their center, he was drafted as like you said, right out of college as a guard. Just transitioned to center.
So that shows you how good the coaching staff is, because that's what coaches do, right? They bring out the potential of
whoever their offensive line coach really is elevated. Because like we said last year, that offensive line was a sieve. There's a reason Matt Stafford, when he got hurt, it was best that he didn't play. This year, that offensive line's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to be happy with the season, though. I mean, okay,
they were expected 6 wins.
Right.
That was the over-under, was 6 wins. So
yeah. And look, you lost a playoff game to Detroit by 1.
Yeah.
Nothing. You didn't get blown out in the first round as a 7-point favorite. So
was that not picked? Come on, bro. I mean, I guess you play defense for a reason.
He could probably play offense for Kansas City too.
That's Zach Cunningham. But yeah, no, so the Lions win by a point. The celebrities were at this game, man. Detroit got a moment. They had Eminem, Barry Sanders, they had Calvin Johnson, they had Tim Allen. They were living it yesterday in Detroit.
Listen, you get this chance once every 30 years, you know?
They had Old Man River, that 86-year-old who's been at every game since 1960-something, that's a season ticket holder the whole time. Yeah, that guy's a legend. I don't know how that's some loyalty. I say it all the time. Women, when they're having a hard time in relationships, if you're dating a guy who's a sports fan, look at his team. If he's from like Florida, but he's a Yankees fan and a Lakers fan, he's probably not a loyal dude. He just goes where it's best. But if you date like a Lions fan or an Orioles fan or now a Patriots fan, like
straight loyalty,
they're loyal motherfuckers, and you're safe. We'll take the abuse. We'll take the hope and dreams of being crushed every year. We still are loyal. I gotta.
And if you're dating a Dallas fan, just get insurance on your televisions.
Yeah, and smart devices, and maybe your children, because they might punt them. I'm really happy for the players in Detroit, Dan Campbell, the coaching staff, the whole coaching staff, the fans. They deserve it. The city of Detroit, you guys deserve it, man. You guys have the Red Wings, the Tigers, and the Pistons to deal with. I'm sorry, but at least you got the Lions. I mean, the Red Wings are okay this season. I guess I can't take that away from them. They've really rebuilt well.
Shout out to my boy Derek Lalonde, the head coach there.
Yeah, he's really built. That team was rebuilt very beautifully from a legacy team to nothing, and now they're back to relevance. I got to give him credit. But the Pistons and Tigers are still garbage. So
yeah, Derek was the he was the head coach at Denver University. He was the best man at my uncle's wedding. So he was my uncle's college roommate.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm happy for the city of Detroit. Very happy for them. They deserve a winning team. This is the only they have a win, right? They now finally have a win in the playoffs since 2000. They're the last team to get it since 2000. So congrats to them. Now, on the flip side, fuck the ownership still. I still hate them. So just all the players they have screwed over in those moments of Detroit history. It's not like it's changed. But I'm very happy for the organization. They get to play the winner of the Eagles-Bucks tonight. So they get to play the Bucks next week. Sorry. It's already 13-0. I feel it. But Jared Goff, he did everything I hoped I could see out of him. He played a very good game of football. I was impressed by that whole team. The whole Detroit team, the defense. I mean, you held the Rams to 23 points. You might have given up like 700 yards to Puka Nacua, but you held the whole rest of the team.
Yeah, 181 yards on 9 catches.
I was going to say the winner of the game, but I'm being realistic. It's going to be, I mean, it's already 13-0.
Yeah, what do you think? You think Philadelphia, with the offense they've been running the last, 10 weeks, are going to put up 21 points and a half?
I don't know. They could bold strategy this, right? And just go. They could just pull out a dodgeball move, bold strategy, Cotton, and just run the tush push exclusively the rest of the game and see if they can drive down the field.
God.
I've seen it get 3 yards every now and then, so you never know.
I think
I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
What was impressive about how Detroit did it was the run game wasn't that prolific. It was just an all around good team game. They just hung in there, played hard. It was close, but them squeaking out that win is probably better than them blowing out the Rams.
Yeah, it showed that they can handle with adversity in tight games, because that was a concern I had with the turnover situation. Last 2 days I've been working on acceptance. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. I don't know. Tell your quarterback with that name of Hurt to play a little better.
Yeah, that's it. What I said when I picked this game, they have the ability in their talent to bounce back from losing those games down the stretch and actually win a playoff game.
There you go. That's what you got to do right there.
For so many weeks picking them, I finally had to be like, no, I'm not picking them this game.
I just need to feel energy from them. I just feel like they're flat. No one.
Yeah, there's no pulse. There's just no pulse.
Yeah, everybody's just running out there like it's another day at work. They're not out there to try and. It doesn't just. They have so much talent on this roster, even without AJ Brown. I mean, it might be better without the drama queen. I mean, look what they just did. That slant to Devontae Smith. That's what they need to do. Get Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert in the game as much as you can early. Or use DeAndre Swift more than you are, because they're not really using him at all right now. But
yeah, you got to play. You got to play to the Bucs' weakness, which is is your pass game, because their run defense is pretty good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Well, Vita Vea is like the size of a freaking woolly mammoth.
Yeah, he's like what's his name there? Wilfork back in the day.
Yeah, except for Wilfork was a happy dude. This dude is an angry dude.
Yeah, he's an angry giant.
I actually want to know how big he is. He is 6'4.5", 352 pounds.
Lightweight.
But just get the ball, even if it's because, like you said, it's hard to run against Tampa Bay. Get the ball to Swift in the open field and let him run. Just wear out the linebackers. Use a lot of the. Again, we said it. They've used the same plays. They're very predictable. But if they can use some running plays and end arounds and do things to go to the outside of the field, stretch the field a little bit, wear out the Levante David, Devin White combination in the middle of the field. Wear them out. So that way in the second half, you can use your ground game some.
Fuck, show me a pregame video where you're coming out of the tunnel with a giant radio blasting music and you're having fun. Something, because Boog said, they don't even show happiness. Yeah, you haven't won in 6 weeks or whatever, but it literally looks like they were going to a funeral.
That's what I said. She sent me the video of them all because she was showing me waiting for Jason Kelsey's fit before the game, because he's one of those guys that doesn't care about dressing up. Wears flip-flops and sweatpants. And I said all the guys before Kelsey just looked like they were mourning somebody and they were headed to a funeral. Like there was no energy. They all looked stoic. They were all by themselves. There was no chit chatting with each other. It was just individuals going to an activity. I think Sirianni's just completely lost this team, and he needs to go, and they just need to refresh this team. I think the roster's good. Slay and Bradbury might be a problem because you have them long term now. You probably got to try and offload at least one of them because they've both been terrible. But you need to get the coaching staff right. You need to get these guys with better leaders and motivators. I know that's one thing people are saying about why Belichick makes sense to Dallas is because he's a leader and he doesn't take shit in the locker room. But I think Dallas needs an offensive innovator, so I don't know if really Belichick's the guy to lean on there.
Yeah, like if you know that he's bringing McDaniels, then maybe, but they still wouldn't have a Tom Brady-esque person, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But congrats to the Lions. Like I said, they'll play the winner of this. The Rams, you guys were projected 6 wins. You made the playoffs. You made a competitive, really good game in the playoffs. So far, the best game of the playoffs, competitive-wise. And you probably got Aaron Donald and Sean McVay to stay around for another year.
Oh, yeah. McVay, after this game, said that this team had inspired him and, brought back his passion.
Yeah, he was on the way out the door. We all knew it before the season. But the way they played, no reason not to. Matt Stafford will be there until his contract's up. You got Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp locked up because Puka's on a rookie contract. You got Cooper Kupp locked on his long-term deal that he signed. The Rams have a bright future ahead of them. They just work on defense in this draft. Your offense is fine. You got Kyron Williams. You got Puka and Kupp. You got Stafford. You have a good young offensive line. The Rams have a really good future here. They might be a challenge for the Niners next year in the NFC West. So good job for the Rams. The last game to talk about, because we got a lot of things we want to talk about off-season wise, like things that we're looking at heading up. And I just want to talk about the injury thing eventually. But Steelers, Bills in Buffalo had just ended at 7:40. It was a good game-ish. The Bills got up. The Steelers came back. The Bills pulled back away. It kind of felt like they were being toyed with. But Mason Rudolph looked all right. I don't think Pickett's. I think they've got to realize they can move off Pickett because Rudolph is still the better quarterback. I'm not saying Rudolph down the stretch or next season, but I'm saying it's time to realize Pickett ain't your guy.
Yeah, if you're playing Mason Rudolph over him, he's definitely not your guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to evaluate it from the Steelers side first. I think that honestly, TJ Watt, get healthy. Just play a full season. Just play one full season.
I mean, you saw this injury occur. It was kind of a freak accident, right?
Yeah, 100%. His own teammate colliding with his own leg. But, I would love to see him play a whole year just because we haven't seen him play a whole year. And Mike Tomlin, there's still rumors that he could get traded as they might go.
I've also heard that he just puts a pause on coaching. It may take a couple of years.
Why not? He's not that old.
I feel like he'd be a guy I'd want to see on TV.
I don't know. I've already seen him on TV. He worked with Greg House for 9 years on Fox.
The doctor?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Dr. Foreman.
I know. I know. I love how uncanny they look like each other, a lot. That's funny.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, House in one of the episodes, House goes, "I love being the leader of a team or the coach of a team," and he goes, "Probably not as much as you." And he said that to Foreman in the episode, and I was like, "That's amazing." But I think that would be cool. See him in a booth, even if it's just the game day morning type stuff or whatever. Just talking football.
Yeah, there's certain guys that can do it, and certain guys that have that charisma and a little bit of personality.
And he demands attention. When he talks, people listen. He just has that presence to him. But I think it would be good for him if he took a year off. If he gets traded, whatever, he could come back next year with the Steelers. It doesn't hurt them. He's not the hindrance to the Steelers. The hindrance to the Steelers is they haven't had a quarterback. Everything else is fine. Their offensive line got better. Yeah, I don't think he'll get. But there was rumors that the Steelers are looking to move in a completely new direction and want to try and bring freshness to the team all around. And there was rumors that Ian Rappaport even reported, Tom Pelissaro reported that the Steelers are looking potentially to trade Tomlin in the offseason, depending on what they can get. There was reports that Atlanta would be interested in a move like that. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's just something we have to watch because now we got coaching watch. Like we have a lot of coaches we're going to watch here. It's not a talking head when it's someone like Rappaport. He gets sources directly from the building. It's not like we're talking about Colin Cowherd or Skip Bayless, who just say things on TV to get publicity. Like these are guys who their entire job is based off of the sources they get told and the things they report on the air. They lose credibility. They lose their job. People like Ian Rappaport, that is their job. They don't have more value than what they report.
Yeah, and there's tiers to it. Like I believe Cowherd way more than I believe Bayless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe Cowherd more than I believe
Some
Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin tried to tell me shit about the Cowboys last week that he heard in the front office, and I was like, he was just there. He probably is telling me the truth, but I don't know. And I had to Google it. I was like, I just don't believe things that come out of his mouth. I don't know.
Dude, is Baker Mayfield about to win a playoff game with the Buccaneers? Because I'm kind of into this. I mean, there's a long way to go. But this man's playing for the win. He is.
I mean, there's 10 minutes left of the first half, and he's already almost doubled Dak's first half stats last night. So
he gets a nice bonus if they win he gets one of his bonuses if they win, right? If they win a playoff game.
$1 million.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Jordan Love gets $500,000 for every win he gets in the playoffs. He got $500,000 yesterday.
That's nice for him because he ain't getting paid much.
Yes, he did do this, which is even more interesting. Tomlin walked out of the press conference after the game. And he's not one of those guys that lets the media really get to him. He's pretty normally just stoically like there. But I think he's aggravated, man. He's got to be. The team was banged up everywhere. There's all the rumors of him potentially not being there. There's reports coming out that the team might even trade him. I don't know. That and they haven't won a playoff game since 2017.
They were just showing that Baker's had 8 coaches in 6 years, and it's the most by any QB in that span.
Bryce Young might hit that soon.
Yeah, well, if you think on average he's averaging 2 a year, so it makes sense.
And with David Tepper's temper, who knows? They could go 0-3 to start the year, and whoever they hire might get fired. I
don't know. Maybe maybe their stadium needs to get sponsored by like one of those like what do you want to call them? Not like a sedative, but
holy drop, Batman.
Whew, something like
Kate
that.
Otten just had a touchdown.
Who?
You had no one in front of you. You had Antoine Winfield. No, that's not Antoine Winfield. He's on your team. You had one of the safeties downfield in front of you, but like, oh my Lord.
Oh,
and then Baker gets stepped on. This dude is banged. He is old school, like Bart Starr type era tough. The dude just plays through whatever the hell happens.
You kind of wonder, right? You kind of wonder about him. Had he gone to a good organization in the beginning, what he could have been.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
not an organization with a rotating door at quarterback and head coach and offensive coordinator.
Yeah, like I feel like if he had gone to the right place, he'd be a much better player. Like, because I don't even think this is peak Baker. I just think this is good Baker. You know?
Yeah, I think he's just a good quarterback. I think he's a very serviceable guy to a team. I think he's well, in fantasy, he was 8th best in the league this year. But I think realistically in regular football, he's probably about 14th best quarterback nowadays, maybe 15th. But hey, I'll take that on some teams like Tampa Bay. You know, the rest of the team is so good, you can win games.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is honestly probably the problem. But I'm just not thinking that it's good Baker. I'm thinking it's more. Like I said, he finished this season above Mahomes this year statistically. Jalen Hurts statistically.
And he's not making $50 million a year.
He's making $4 million. You're paying the man $4 million, and he's putting up. His stats this year are 64.3% completion percentage, a 94.6 quarterback rating with 4,044 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. Only sacked 40 times. I mean, I'll take that for $4 million every single season of his life. If they're all you're going to pay him, he's going to put up 4,000 yards, get you 9 to 10 wins, 28 touchdowns. I'll take that every time.
I think there's just guys that like you're going to get them relegated to the fact that they can't win a Super Bowl. But look into the past and you'll see that there are plenty of guys who won a Super Bowl that shouldn't have. And there are guys that should have won Super Bowls that never did. So
400 more yards passing, 4 more touchdowns passing, and only 2 more interceptions than Lamar Jackson.
And again,
I mean,
not making $50 million a year.
Yeah. Again, he's not Lamar. He can't expand the plays and do the things Lamar can do. But statistically, passing-wise, Baker had a great season, especially for $4 million.
And compared to what his past passing seasons have been like.
Yeah, his last 2 with the Browns and then the shit show in Carolina last year. Dude, you could send Patrick Mahomes to Carolina. I don't think he could fix it.
I don't think Carolina's anywhere viable for minimum the next 3 to 5 years.
I honestly don't know how they're going to get a coach. I know somebody will take it because they'll pay,
Oh, you'll get 100. You're going to get $100 million guaranteed if you want to go that. Like, if the coaches just all banded together and we're just have an embargo on going to Carolina, like you would get a guaranteed check whether you get fired or not, and that's kind of Tepper's fucking MO right now. You know what I mean?
It's so funny because I don't even hear anyone going there. Like, I haven't heard any rumors of this guy's going to Arizona, like Carolina, or there's interview. The only interviews I've heard so far about Carolina is the Giants called Carolina to interview their interim coach to be their special teams coordinator, and Carolina said no. And I've heard that the Carolina Panthers called the Eagles to interview their offensive coordinator. That's all I've heard so
far. Let me see. Yeah, like no name guys.
No one wants to go there. David Tepper's a problem.
So they interviewed their own interim head coach, Chris Tabor.
Who got them 1 win, for the record. It's still doable, Boogie. You guys can still win this. It's 13 points. A touchdown, and it's back in play.
Oh, and they interviewed their own interim coach, their own defensive coordinator, and then both of the Ravens coordinators, Todd Monken and Mike McDonald, and that's it.
Oh, I really hope Todd Monken doesn't go. They just got him in Baltimore, and I really like him in Baltimore. Speaking of head coaching jobs, Steve Wilkes took the job, got the interview in LA, and he is now headed to Atlanta to interview for the Falcons head coaching job.
I mean, anybody coming out of that tree is probably pretty good.
Yeah. Dude, lay down. Just wait. Jesus Christ. So we didn't talk about the Bills yet. We talked about the Steelers and their situation. The Bills win. They look good. James Cook, Ty Johnson, Josh Allen all looked really good. Stephon Diggs had moments. Both tight ends look good. Defense, though, man, they're in trouble. Another pair of linebackers out.
Yeah,
Terrell Bernard probably tore his Achilles. That looked rough. He was carted off for an ankle injury, didn't return. So Matt Milano gone. Terrell Bernard probably gone. Guy with a name that sounds like it belongs in Game of Thrones. I don't remember it. The other middle linebacker, he's gone. Yeah, they're all the way down to AJ Klein, who was going to retire, but the Bills said, he stayed with the Bills another year because of the injury to Matt Milano. So going forward, that's a problem for the Bills. Their secondary and corners are still relatively as healthy as they can be. The offense is unbelievable. With Josh Allen's not turning the ball over, they're hard to stop.
If he's not turning the ball over, he is the best NFL quarterback.
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah, 100%. Because he had 48 touchdowns this year.
I mean,
something like that.
He's so big. He's so strong. He can make every throw. I mean, he'll run through people if you ask him to. I mean, he's just, when he's not turning the ball over, he is the best NFL quarterback there is.
And one of the best stats that's not tracked through statistics is availability. And Josh Allen has played 97 consecutive games.
And you've seen some of the hits he takes.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be his downfall. But
yeah, I worry he's going to fall off like Cam Newton, because Cam Newton was built the same way. Took a lot of big hits and then disappeared.
But I think you're starting to see him do less of that now, which is earlier than Cam did, because Cam did it basically his whole career. Because he has arm talent that Cam Newton does not.
Yeah.
So I just think if they can get rolling here, this year really being the start of it, they could have some deep playoff runs.
They could finally win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not this year. I don't think they have the pieces yet this year. I think when you play a team like Kansas City next week, and if they get by it, Baltimore or Houston, they need another weapon. They need someone besides Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Gabe Davis shows up and disappears too much. And actually, Stephon Diggs does that now.
Yeah, they need an elite receiver for Josh Allen to throw the ball to. It's not Mahomes level bad. Like, his receiving core can function because, Khalil Shakir is better than anyone on Kansas City outside of Rashee Rice, but they just need to get him another weapon that's consistent. Stephon Diggs disappearing this year has really hurt the production of the offense in Buffalo. But thankfully for them, for the most part, James Cook has picked it up.
Yeah, that's where they really were struggling before, right? They had zero consistency to the run game.
Yeah, and as Josh Allen said, adding Ty Johnson as the number 2 back has given them a guy who will fight until he can't fight no more to get another yard. So it's added that punch factor behind James Cook. So I don't know. Buffalo's going to be interesting. If they can get by Kansas City, I don't care who they play, Baltimore or Texans, it'll be a hell of a game. I don't think they're an easy out like I thought before week 10. They were 6-6 at week 12. They got their bye week, and then they've just come out on fire. So
and they had, I think, going into the playoffs, they had the 3rd highest odds of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, those guys are seeing it. Down the stretch, I thought if they could get to where they got, which was the 2 seed, they have a legitimate shot at winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you get to play in front of the craziest fans I've ever seen, who, by the way, need to show a little more class. Throwing a snowball at George Pickens while he's trying to catch a touchdown pass is a little fucked up.
I don't know. That just sounds like Philly fans to me.
Yeah, a little fucked up. I don't know.
Listen, okay. If you think a snowball's the least of their worries, they slam each other through flaming tables, catch each other on fire, and they're fine. Okay, they're just a different breed in Buffalo.
They're absolutely a different breed. They were sliding down the chutes, shoveling the stadium with no.
Oh yeah, pushing the snow. They'd get into the chutes and slide down, and then come back up.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do. Now, they're a fun team to watch when they're playing well. So I do like that as well if they're going to be deep in the playoffs.
Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really enjoyable. It's hard not to want to watch them. Their defense does a lot of things right that's fun, And then just the flexibility of like what Josh Allen can do when he has the ball in his hand. It's why I love watching the Ravens offense. Like if they're not going to throw the ball, we get to watch Lamar. And like it's the same with Josh Allen. When I get to watch Josh Allen run, it is a treat.
Yeah, the ad lib stuff for those guys can create more big plays.
Yeah, I mean, his 52-yard touchdown run today, you had people like legit not trying to tackle him. If you watch the replay back, you'll watch one of the defenders actually run to Andy Isabella to get blocked. He did not want to touch Josh Allen in that cold weather. He was like, I'm good. It was pretty awesome. Jalen Hurts deep ball. He throws a beautiful one.
Now, the one thing I did say about this game that I'm going to have to say I was wrong on was I said the Steelers were the only team in the playoffs I didn't believe was the playoff team. I was wrong there. It also included, I should have included Dallas.
Excuse me, Miami.
Miami considerable for that as well. But Dallas was a definite. So, yeah, I don't like what watching Philly today and watching Dallas play. It's like, how the hell did they get two teams in the playoffs?
Well, the Cowboys
I guess you could say that, right?
The Cowboys in the first half.
Who is it on TV? I think it's on Nick Wright. The show Nick Wright does. First Things First. Somebody calls them like the September and October MVP teams. The teams that win, the teams that win early and then just suck down the stretch.
Yeah, that's what I said. They just outscored Dallas in the first half. They just put up a touchdown to Goddard. So 16-10.
Like, okay, if you look at that drive, that's what Philly needs to be doing, and they don't do that.
Deep ball to Devontae Smith, get into the red zone and throw to big old Dallas Goddard. And they're going to go on for 2 now because they just jumped them off sides on the extra point.
So now they're getting a tush push. Yes.
Yeah, the good old tush push. The future band play. So when we talk about, so we talked about all the playoff games. So let's talk about that because there's some things to talk about anyway. The tush push. Are we going to ban QB sneaks or is it just the specific manner of the way the tush push is run?
Personally, I wouldn't ban it. Like,
it doesn't. It's the most boring play in football, but it also doesn't change the game to an element that you have to worry about it. Like, look at the Eagles. As much as they run it, look how bad they fell apart. They're not. It doesn't make them a dangerous threat unless they're at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, what is it like? What does it matter?
Jalen Hurts just got stopped.
That's funny.
The 87-year-old Levante David and Vita Vea. I don't know how you're going to get by Vita Vea. He's the only man in the world that can make Jason Kelce look tiny. What a play.
Wow. Yeah, that was Britt was dragging him backwards.
Oh, that's who that was?
Yeah.
Damn.
He jumped over, grabbed him by the shoulder pads, and was making it so he couldn't turn into the end zone.
There you go. See, now it's officially the tush push again because Josh Allen does it better. He doesn't get stopped. Did you see the one today? Did you watch that game earlier?
No.
Josh Allen got stopped on a tush push earlier, and his offensive lineman grabbed his right leg and just pulled him over the line since he was on top of the pile.
That's funny.
I was like, all right.
Any way possible, man. You do it any way possible.
The fuck is that? Oh, that's Bronson Reed. All right, so Higbee, as we all know yesterday in last night's Lions game, took a shot to the thigh, but it wound up revolving the knee. Tore his ACL because I can't even think of his name right now. Anyway, he went up for a ball, landed. Player had to do what he has to do in the league today and hit the knee with his helmet and shoulder and popped his ACL. And it's a very common thing we see in today's era of football. And I wanted to, so I did some research with my buddy Mike. We both did some individual research and we talked to each other afterward. Since 2011, the concussions, 2011 is when the rules started to slowly change. The concussions are down 7.6%. That's it. Leg injuries are up 225%.
What did they expect?
So the reason, and people go, well, how is that possible? You're not supposed to hit high. You're supposed to only hit low. So how can concussions not be up so high or not down farther than 7.6%? So we see it all the time. When you get hit low and you get pulled by the waist down, what the fuck's hitting the turf? The back of your fucking head. Because when you change it to make them tackle low, your head is now going down at an angle to hit the turf. But when people used to be able to hit the chest, they didn't aim. Players in the NFL didn't go to the NFL to decapitate people. Their objective was never, I'm going to lower my head and try and take someone's head off. They aimed for the chest.
I don't know. Vontaze Burfict, you might have an argument, but other than that.
Yes, it's like the military. There's certain people that join the military to kill people. That's their entire reason. But most of them do it because it's a job and it's a stability thing that you can make money and you can defend your country, as they say. But like most of them do it because they can actually just make a reliable income and get paid when you retire for the rest of your life by the government. My buddy Tommy said out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't smart enough for college, and I needed to do something besides work at Cold Stone. So he went and joined the Army.
Bro, if you go to college for 2 years, you'll figure out just about anybody smart enough for college.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But anyway, the league needs to look into, and I know they're not going to because the head thing after all the lawsuits that they faced, and that is definitely, he's grabbing the head. They just showed the replay. He full on pulled his helmet.
Oh, yeah. That's playoff thing.
As I said on Facebook yesterday, everybody, as soon as they see one call not go against their fucking team, they make a Facebook post. Oh, the refs are at it again. We're going to lose the game because the refs suck. And I was like, I don't know why fans expect the refs to get every single fucking call. If your quarterback can make a bad throw and throw an interception, the ref can make a bad call every now and then. Just calm down. Just breathe it out. One bad play, two bad plays by the refs is not a bad thing. If it's a game-changing decision, then fine. Be upset. But in the first quarter, if they miss a hold, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. Did the rest we're going to make? I mean, come on. If anyone's going to get the script, it's going to be Dallas. You saw Jerry Jones after it was 21-0 turn his chair around and go to his studio. I was like, he's going to be like, get Goodell on the phone. That's literally what I said out loud. I was like, he's asking for Goodell.
You know, it's. I saw something today that showed that exact clip where he was turning around and looking back, and somebody just. It was a Twitter post, and I was dying, but it just said, he goes, just get everyone out of here. And he's just like pointing at a black guy, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, oh God, they're really doing this to Jerry now.
I saw a post that said if Vince McMahon ran the NFL, when Jerry turned in his chair, Bill Belichick would be standing there.
That was like the post I showed you, right? The one of Bill and Jerry together. And it's like at the rate we're going, this will be done before the end of the game.
I saw people tweeting at halftime. I know it's illegal, but just get Bill on the sideline and tell Mike McCarthy to fuck off.
I had one where Jerry was picking up the phone and it said, have the staff start cutting sleeves off hoodies now.
We'd never have to wear a hoodie. We would lose Bill.
I was like, oh, that's so good. So good.
But I'm a little upset with this. I don't know. The rules need to be. There's things that need to be done every offseason, right?
Well, the thing about the like hitting changes didn't fundamentally change anything. Like it was never illegal to hit somebody low. You know what I mean? Like there's certain low style blocks and things you can do that are illegal, but it's never really been illegal to do that. And then all of a sudden you just eliminate like any chance of going high. Makes no sense, because the biggest and most devastating injuries in the NFL are the leg injuries.
Yeah. No one
So-
talks about some of the head hits that we've seen. I mean, you talk about Antonio Brown getting clocked by Vontez Burfict, but that's because that altered his career for the rest of his life. But if you look at Joe Theismann, I mean, that's one of the most talked about injuries in sports history.
Here's
Joe Theismann's leg.
Like, if you want a comparison, like to the CTE thing, which, and that's what I think this kind of comes down to, is we always kind of, humans in general, like we always kind of overblow things when we find out something different. And the whole, like this whole thing where they're like taking football players' brains and he had CTE and he had CTE. Okay. I played hockey. Hockey has plenty of concussions. We didn't say you couldn't hit the upper chest anymore. Eric Lindros's career ended because of concussions. That just happens. That's any physical sport. You're going to have some hits and some guys that are going to go out that way. That's kind of the nature of the game you play.
Mm-hmm.
So why they would like fundamentally, like, I understand you can't target the head, but to just make it so they have to listen. So you're just blowing out knees left and right. You're going to make your product worse in general.
Yeah, and the Achilles, like that's the worst one of all of them, really. The Achilles is so hard because there's so many factors to the Achilles. Yeah, I probably have some brain damage. Rugby really fucked me up in high school.
I would say that, but I'm pretty sure I was damaged before that, so we're good. This is
I also
just
took
me.
a really nasty hit in football back in 4th grade. I think that's when my concussion was, 5th grade. I don't know. It was a real bad one.
I've had 2 concussions where like I was knocked out unconscious and like didn't know where I was when I came back. But
and then a couple of years ago from the chemo, and I fell through a table and hit my head. That was pretty dope.
Were you in Buffalo?
No, I was not diving through a table. No. I have never been a Bills fan.
I mean, listen, if I was there, I'd be like, can I be honorary for a minute just so you can put me through a table? Let's do this.
Yeah. I mean, if I went to Buffalo, I'd make sure it's not a Packers game because I would want to be a Bills fan. I would want to celebrate with those types of people.
You know what's horrible is it's not the celebrating with them. It's the survival of trying to live through their tailgate and the football game with them because they can fucking drink.
Yeah. I mean, it's like all the cold north areas, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, northern New York.
Yeah,
when you get to those cold areas where during the winter you really can't go outside and there's not much to do. Yeah, those people are the people that drink all the time. That's really just
okay, one. I'm in my basement, okay? Which today, when you asked me if it snowed, I looked out my basement windows and I was like, wow, I haven't actually seen out those windows today. I stayed home sick from work and worked from home. But what happens is when I leave for work, it's dark outside. And when I come home from work, it's dark outside. And it's freezing cold out there. So I literally have nothing to do but, come talk to you and drink some beers. That's how you know you're from like the north. It's dark at 8 a.m. and it's dark at 5 p.m. It's like, what do we have to do? Hang out and drink.
It's as Lewis Black said, who settled the northern parts of America where winter's really brutal, or Canada? He goes, it's the people who used to drink all the time and they were walking straight when they were going west. But as they drank, they started to veer right because they were inebriated and then they just settled down. So, yeah, the people of the north are the drinkers for sure. I guarantee they actually just had the drunkest cities in 2023. And I guarantee most of them were in the north. Green Bay won.
Green Bay is number one perennially for drinking at the stadium.
Yeah, which is just crazy. But
yeah. Okay, here let's see. I don't want to go by spend. I want to go by total number of beverages. That's funny. 6.3 per game seems pretty low. Maybe they're only counting in the stadium.
Yeah, they're not counting tailgating.
Okay, Chicago, Las Vegas, Minnesota, Philly. Top 5.
There you go.
Vegas, the only, and Vegas kind of makes sense, right? Because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
So yeah,
People in Wisconsin are not allowed to enter drinking competitions. Baker sacked. I don't know why you're happy about it. I know he was a Brown, and I know you hate how Skip used to root for him, but Baker's a good dude. He does a lot for the world. He plays through injuries, unlike certain quarterbacks in Baltimore. He plays through some really tough injuries. There's a lot to like about Baker Mayfield now that he's not in the spotlight ruining his own image. He's calmed down and become a good, upstanding citizen of football.
oh, that was almost a muff punt.
Don't tell Boogie. I have no idea what I missed. I didn't look up. Buffalo Wild Wings commercial made me want some wings. Yeah.
That does sound good.
Right? Sounds delicious.
I actually generally use like next weekend where there's only a few football games. On those days, I'll just be like, you know what? Today's the day where I'm just going to order 100 wings.
I mean, I know you're entitled to your own opinion and stuff, but like, I'm asking what there is to not like about him. Like, to not like someone has to do something to cause you not to like them. Like I don't like
Deshaun Watson.
I was gonna say Mike Tyson because he raped a woman, but yes, Deshaun Watson. I don't like Deshaun Watson because of all the things Deshaun Watson did. I have reasons not to like him. I didn't like Baker when he was in the spotlight and doing all this shit that he was doing because he didn't deserve. And he was acting like he was some great thing that he's not. And I can't stand when you act like you're something and you're not backing it up. Now,
it was kind of like the era of that, though, right? Like him and Manziel.
He just reminded me of Johnny Manziel. Is honestly what he reminded me of. Now he's become a humble, quiet dude who just does his job. I respect somebody who goes out and just does his job quietly.
Plays hard. He's the team loves him. Like you hear nothing but praise for him from teammates.
Yeah, there's just got to be some reason not to like people. Like that's all. Like why people ask me why I don't like Kyle Larson. I know it was a mistake, but dropping the N-word on national TV while you're in a race, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. I know he was saying it's the heat of the moment and it was video gaming and whatnot because he was doing iRacing, but I just don't defend that. I don't know. It's just not what I was into. So I still hold it on him. People say you forgive people for their transgressions, but I don't know. Racism's hard for me.
Yeah, like certain things you can bounce back from.
You can say that all
the
you
N-word are two different things, man. Like
you can say that all you want, but I mean, cussing's part of sports. Fans cuss all the time. You used to cuss all the time watching NASCAR growing up. Then you became Mormon and stopped cussing. I can't. I used to hear you cuss every time you watched a NASCAR race. N-word is not cussing. Way different.
Those are
way different.
Yeah.
They're not even remotely in the same conversation.
Yeah, there's only a few words that are in that category.
You misunderstood me. Okay, because I was like, that's what I had a problem. He can cuss all he wants while he's racing. I don't care. I've heard Carl Edwards, my favorite driver, call people a retard while he's driving. I don't care.
Some people do care about that word, and I understand that too, but like
we said yesterday off the air when we were talking to each other, I would never use that to someone who actually is disabled. I call it to the dumbest people who aren't.
Yeah,
just dumb.
It's reserved for my lowest of the low. Like,
yeah, you're just dumb. Like when I hear Michael Irvin talk, I'm like, what is wrong? Like, what, bro?
When I hear Cowboys fans tell me they're going to the Super Bowl.
Come on, Dot. They're hurting today. They're hurting. Respect their pain.
Just know that I know that Cowboys jerseys were on clearance today, okay?
They're probably going for free. I mean, you got Skip Bayless throwing them out in the trash can after the game. So I mean, and he claims they're staying there. He claims that he's not taking them out. They're getting thrown out to the dump, and if he wants them, he'll buy new ones, which he can. Fox pays him.
Skip Bayless is your prototypical Cowboys fan. He says that, and then next year, what's he going to do? He's going to pull them out of the trash can and put them back on again. Because it's insane that they believe this team is going to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
So,
So I don't watch his show. So I didn't know this until this morning when they showed the replay. But my boy, who I don't listen to rap, everybody knows it. Chewy came into my chat on Friday and I read out a Drake lyric because I didn't know it was a Drake lyric. He just typed it in and I read it out like it was a normal sentence. Found out afterward that I was reading a line from a Drake song. But Lil Wayne on Undisputed Friday said, I'm 100% confident the Green Bay Packers beat your Cowboys in Dallas this weekend. Had no idea he said it. I know he's a Packers fan. He was at the game wearing his green and gold. I love him to death, but
did you see his video from the stadium?
No.
When they scored that, it was the touchdown to go up like 21-0. He had like a little somebody was sitting next to him, like shooting his face as he's watching the game. And as they went up 21-0, he just kind of looked, smirked, and pulled his little thing up so you could only see his eyes. And it was all green and gold. And I was like, and he's a big time Packers fan. Like, he's all in.
I mean, when I don't remember, I don't know who made the song Black and Yellow. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Wiz Khalifa.
There you go. Lil Wayne came back with green and yellow for the Packers because that was the Super Bowl year that he made that song. So when we went to the Super Bowl against the Steelers, so he made sure he made a song to counter it.
Which is funny,
big time.
He's from like New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah. No, he said he grew up loving Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that's changed now, but he grew up loving Brett Favre, and I respect that. I mean, people say, why are you a Packers fan? There are two reasons, besides the man on my shoulder, because I did wind up loving Aaron Campman, but he was a couple years after I started watching football. Donald Driver and Kareem Gajabala-Mila. Those two men made me absolutely love the Green Bay. It wasn't Brett Favre. It was the fucking stupid smile on that bald head of Donald Driver that could light up a world. And then Gajabala-Mila was just unbelievable for how underrated he was. And then, of course, he had his little weird thing after he left football, created a church where he's actually considered the savior and God, and he got arrested for it and stuff like that. His career went crazy, but the dude was awesome as a Packer. And I mean, that's why I'm a Packers fan. I knew I grew up in Maryland with a family rooting for the Ravens. My aunt at her fucking memorial service asked everybody to wear purple because my family is a Ravens fan. And I could have been one. I grew up here. The Super Bowl was 2000. I was just kind of getting, old enough to understand a little bit of football. Like there's things that I could have been a Raven, but nope, that stupid smile of Donald Driver. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
That's like my family with football. We all live in New York. Nobody here's a Giants fan.
How about a Bills fan?
Nope, not a Bills fan. I live further. I live closer to. I live equidistant from New York City and Buffalo. I live the furthest you can live in the state from both those places. I'm basically, but the closest city to me is Montreal. It's an hour away.
I was going to say you are a rent-a-Canadian. So
Exactly. Or as I like to call myself, a snow Mexican. Actually, I'm closest U.S. city I'm closest to is Boston. And
didn't you get their autograph? Yeah, when we went to so my dad took me as a little kid to the preseason game of Packers versus Falcons. Rodgers' rookie season. I have an autograph book from that trip, and it has Rodgers' autograph in it. Because if you guys don't know, during the preseason, the Packers players go. The training facility is literally just across a little narrow street because Green Bay is just a great community city team. They ride bicycles of the kids in the town. You can bring a bike, and the players will ride your bike over to their training facility. And if they're too big, like some of the offensive linemen, to ride some of these kids' bikes, they'll walk next to the kid while they ride the bike, and they'll sign autographs. So Rodgers was a rookie. I got everybody on that team that year's autograph except for Favre and Mark Tauscher, and that's because Favre and Mark Tauscher drove a truck and hid behind the stadium and went around behind everybody, so they didn't have to sign anything. But I got Rodgers, Donald Driver, Kareem, Gajabala-Mila, all of their autographs, like Al Harris. That was fucking dope. That was dope. Mike Vick was in that game. I don't know if I said that. That was the Mike Vick Falcons. But man, I love football. I love baseball. Don't get me wrong. Grew up playing it. Was a great baseball player. It could have been something if I wasn't so damn paranoid about getting hit in the fucking dome. There's something about football that when it comes on, nothing else matters. Like as soon as 1 o'clock comes and red zone starts on a Sunday, football is just everything else fades away. I'll play video games any day of the week. I don't play when there's football on. It is football transcends everything else. I don't know what it is. I get aggravated with the rule changes. I get aggravated about how offensive the league is. I get really annoyed to the point where I was raging angry Sunday watching Taylor Swift swerve to Sean Strickland's song. I don't know if that's what she was swerving to, but Swerve Strickland is a wrestler who made his own song that says I swerve in the streets and stuff. And that's what I just assumed Taylor was dancing to because that's how all of us wrestling fans dance to his entrance song. I just want to watch football. That's all I want to do. I don't want anything else. I hate commercials. That's why I watch Red Zone. And then, of course, during the playoffs, you get 85 billion commercials. But it is transcendent. And it's why I honestly love talking with Dot. It's why I love this show. It's why I love that we get people in here to talk because I just love football. It's my favorite thing.
It's the entertainment value it provides, right?
Yeah. And honestly, if you're not a Cowboys fan and you're not a Vikings fan, I'm really just picking on you. I really don't care. I'm not mad at your team. I don't like the Eagles. I give Boogie crap just because she's a friend. I don't care if the Eagles win a football game or lose. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I have a lot of Eagles friends on Facebook, so I do like to rag on them, so it makes my day a little better. But I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I legitimately have friends that I enjoy watching the Cowboys lose for the sheer fact that I go to work and talk to them about how every year the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl and it just ain't happening. I was just told that on Friday at work.
Yeah, my friend posted on Facebook. He's a diehard Cowboys fan. Lives right outside Dallas. Big time Cowboys fan. Made a post on Friday on Facebook and said, if you guys think Jordan Love being close to Dak Prescott in touchdowns and quarterback rating means anything, you're wrong. The guy is nowhere near as intimidating as Dak Prescott, and us Cowboys fans are not scared. That was his Facebook post Friday. Man, yesterday I went back and found that post and put a little eye emoji in and then commented and said, where you at, buddy? I'm curious how you're feeling right now.
Where's them receipts?
Yeah,
I'm not ashamed either. I get a ton of enjoyment out of the Cowboys losing. It really, and that's what makes it so great. Isn't the fact that it happens a lot because they win a lot of regular season games.
Yeah, 12-5, 3 straight years.
But it's the same thing every year when the playoffs come around. They literally the build up and the crescendo of this one was just so good to me. Just so good to me because not only did it happen, it was unexpected. I didn't think they were making the Super Bowl, but the way it happened, to just get demoralized by the Packers.
By a 7 seed. No one's ever won as a 7 seed.
Just absolutely makes it that much sweeter this time around because this was the one that they got their own fans to buy in, Super Bowl or bust.
All right. I know you're not saying you root for it, so you're allowed to say it, because as long as you're not rooting for someone who didn't do anything wrong as death, I don't care. But, I mean, it would be a very Cowboys thing. Jerry Jones passes away, and the next year they win a Super Bowl. I actually thought the Yankees were going to win it the year after Steinbrenner died. I thought it was going to be just this most ironic thing ever, but
like I said, somebody actually said, they go, I don't think it's a Jimmy Johnson curse. I think it's a Jerry Jones curse.
Yeah, I do too. I think Jerry Jones is just in the way of this team. And I hate to tell Cowboys fans this because I know the man's old and he's going through a lot. It's not getting better when he retires or passes away, whichever happens first. His son is not great.
No.
He's made some real dumb decisions in that front office already. So
you've seen some of these storied franchises where the ownership gets transferred to one of the kids and it doesn't work. Prime example would be in the NBA with the Buss family and the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Yankees and the Steinbrenners.
Yeah. Disney and Walt Disney and his kids. Oh wait, we're talking about football. Sorry. No. And then you have cases where it does work, right? Like Mike Brown passed it down to his daughter with the Bengals, and they were never winning a playoff game. And then she takes over, gets Joe Burrow, and here they come. But I just don't think this is going to be one of those happy endings. I don't know. But like I said, as a sports fan, I love everything about sports. I can't watch basketball. I don't know what it is. I'm trying. I got into a fantasy basketball league with Nerd Sesh just to try and maybe be excited about basketball.
I can't get into a sport where you don't play defense the entire regular season.
I try, and I'm like, man, because when I grew up not watching basketball. And then when I got to college, my best friend in college, one of my best friends in college, his name is Gabe. The reason I'm a Trailblazers fan. He's a diehard Trailblazers fan. I didn't know anything about basketball, but he kept yelling and screaming in the room next to me about basketball. So I went in and started watching with him. And he taught me a lot about basketball. And back then, there was still some defense. And I was a Trailblazers fan from that moment on because that's who I got to watch. And I try and watch basketball every now and then when it's on, and I'm like, I don't feel it. Like, I just do not feel it.
I generally basketball, like I watch playoff basketball when it's on because most of the time there's nothing else on. Whew. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like I get the athleticism and everything like that, but
I'll never take away from how freakish they are.
Right. Like they're gigantic human beings that control their body while flying through the air. Like, great. That's cool.
The things LeBron could do with the size he is, I'm like, holy crap.
But and then like what we talk about, me personally, I'm invested in golf more than probably most people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. I grew up a hockey player. Basketball is the same season. Like, it doesn't work.
That's one of the reasons. Growing up, because I was a baseball player and I played all year. I mean, I played fall ball, I played winter ball, I played spring and summer. There wasn't a time I wasn't playing. I went to Ripken camps and stayed the summer at Ripken. Baseball was my life. And growing up, we started losing as we got a little older, a lot of our baseball teammates to go play lacrosse. It's why I fucking hate lacrosse to this day. We were taught lacrosse is the same time of the season as you guys. You guys do not get along, and that's how it's always been. Our coaches, one of my hitting coaches, used to torment us. If we struggled one game or in practice with a curveball or anything with movement, he'd be like, go play lacrosse, everything's straight. He goes, don't worry about playing baseball if you can't hit the curveball. And I was like, God damn.
I like that guy already.
It was Larry Sheets, the Orioles, in the Orioles Hall of Fame. He was my hitting coach growing up, and he was real strict about how much I'm supposed to hate lacrosse, and I do. I hate lacrosse. Like, I won't watch it. It could be on TV. It could be like in the Olympics. I would turn it off. I don't find it entertaining.
No, because
that's how I was.
Yeah, that's like your relegation purgatory. Like, that's where you're going there.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. So I say all this because
now that you say that, my hockey coaches growing up used to say, "Why don't you go play baseball if you can't take a hit?"
Yeah,
or basketball.
Well, I knew, but either way, I mean, we don't take hits in baseball either, so I wouldn't be offended.
You're gonna get mad about getting hit like that and then take a stupid penalty. Why don't you go play basketball?
But I say all this because sports are my life. I appreciate all you guys. Like, I know the season's coming to an end. Me and Dot are still going to be here every Monday night. I am looking into something that I'm going to talk to Dot about before I really fully talk about it, but it might help us grow. If I get this new job if the background check goes through and stuff like that, which it will, I don't even have a speeding ticket to my name. Like, I've just never done anything. I'm a very boring, mellow person. I've never drank alcohol. I've never touched a drug. I'm boring. I'm just a boring human being. I stay at home 90% of my life. So, like, there's no reason it doesn't pass through. Tesco, your emblem changed. Falcons interviewed Bill Belichick. Okay.
Yeah, that was known. That was known about.
I didn't know that one. I didn't know who the Falcons have talked to because they're just an anomaly.
I don't think he's the best fit there unless you have McDaniels.
Yeah.
They also need a quarterback.
But I'm looking to get someone out to maybe go through our stuff and make clips for us and post on our TikTok because it's hard for me to keep up with it all with everything else I try and do in life. Because I do a lot of side research to football stuff and NASCAR stuff and baseball, like on my side on my own, just because I love, like I scroll through I give a lot of people crap for how much they spend on like TikTok and Facebook and stuff just to give them crap. But I scroll through my Google history is just like so many statistics pages and facts pages and history of these games and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm just trying to be more of a student of the game than I already am. And I'm trying to find, maybe I'll get someone one day, like when I get paid better, I'll have someone do our TikToks because me and Dot are going to talk after the show. But if he agrees, then I'm going to talk to you guys next week. But I just want to thank you all because this means a lot to me every time. Growing up, when I couldn't make it in baseball anymore because of the knee injuries and it didn't matter that I only made one error in 6 years at second base. My hitting was just, I could steal every base, but I couldn't. I don't know what it was growing up. I was afraid of getting hit in the fucking head by that fastball. So I was inside pitches I didn't strike out, but man, I did not hit for contact or power. I just touched the bat with the ball and I didn't get very far in my life as I could have. After that, I really wanted to fucking be in sports. I wanted to do not necessarily like a game announcer, but like what Colin Cowherd does or what we do. So this means a lot to me, and I just want to thank everybody because we say thank you at the end of every night, but it just means a lot that you guys come in and chat and hang out. And I'm going to keep trying to help us grow, and we're never going to forget you guys. We're going to love every single time we see you guys.
Yeah, the fact that people come spend any minutes of their day with us is kind of awesome.
It's fucking amazing. Like when people show up my podcast, my stream, I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. But when you guys come in here, like it melts my heart. Like this is something that I've been
getting like legitimate, like
so much.
Getting legitimate questions about fantasy lineups, like who are we? You know what I mean? Like that's how it makes me feel. Like I guess maybe most, some of the times I'm right, but it's like. The fact that people come in here and ask those questions and, at least give our answer a shot is awesome. Like,
who the fuck is Rich McKay? I'm actually asking. I do not know.
Is he the
I assume
GM?
we're talking about maybe. I assume we're talking about the Falcons, and I assume that's the GM because I know Arthur Blank is the owner, so I don't.
Arthur better be writing a blank check for a coach because.
He's the CEO of the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, and the GM.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, the Pats offered Belichick's sons jobs.
Oh, not Steve. That creepy lip-licking motherfucker just with his tongue flailing around is going to be on the sideline. There's so many clips of that going around right now, and I'm like, dude.
Listen, you take the wrong stuff, that happens.
Oh, you gotta catch that Quez. I have no idea if that's Quez Watkins. I don't know who number 16 on the fucking Falcons either. Eagles is. If it's not Julio, Devontae Smith, or AJ Brown, Antonio Brown, it is Quez. I nailed that.
Oh, yeah, the receivers coming up for flags, the quarterbacks coming up.
I got to give Quez a little bit there. Nakobe Dean was just in the way, not looking back at the ball. The rule is if you want to contest the catch, you have to be contesting the ball. He wasn't looking back for the ball, so technically he's actually out of position. But you can't, like I said, you can't call every single one or it'll be called – a hold will call on every play. Like there's an offensive lineman holding on every single play.
I also want a rule where if you come up going like this, they throw the flag and give you a penalty.
I actually was thinking about that last Saturday night watching Patrick Mahomes because, like you said, I didn't even say anything yesterday morning when I was like, I'm getting tired of watching the Chiefs game because, and then you were literally imitating the Patrick Mahomes thing before I even finished my sentence.
I'm tired of it, dude. Like it's
so
just
American football fans say that the reason they don't watch soccer is because there's flopping. And what did soccer do? Soccer finally started giving out yellow cards and red cards for excessive flopping, right? So they started penalizing people. There's no more flopping. It really is completely gone because people are just getting straight yellows and reds. It's crazy to watch. I mean, I've seen someone get a red card for flopping in the box. The NFL needs to look at it and go, because we talk about how much the refs miss, right? You don't notice the refs miss a call as often if you don't see the quarterback literally getting up and getting in the ref's face asking for a penalty every play. We don't start paying attention to it.
Yeah.
If you take that away, it doesn't make your officiating crew look as stupid. Like you can't, like you said, just give them a 5-yard penalty. It doesn't have to be a personal foul, 15 yards and a first down, but make it a 5-yard penalty so where it can cost them.
Yeah, just something to get it under control.
Because kickers and punters can flop. They got to make some relevancy, right? I'm okay with them flopping.
There was a game a couple of weeks ago where the guy ran into the punter and he just held him up.
It was the Eagles-Giants game. Braden Mann was the punter for the Eagles, and he was like trying to just go down, and the Giants player was just holding him. He was like, "Come here!" He just held him there.
Yeah, and then when the guy finally put his own feet on the ground, he's like
right? And Scott Hansen was like, "Well, that's one way to avoid a roughing the punter penalty."
Yeah, I was like, "That's hilarious."
Harley, I hear you, dude. We're almost done.
And by the way, and then the other thing I can't stand right now, okay, and I get it, and I saw a great meme about it today, is
all right. I'm gonna keep you in my ear. I'm gonna let you.
Collinsworth doing the Chiefs game. They showed a thing that said every time Chris Collinsworth does a Chiefs game, and it's just a dude stacking hot dogs in one bun, and it's just like 25 layers of hot dogs. So it's like, yeah, because they all like they give him so much benefit, and he comes up whining, and again, okay, because Brady did it too, and I was a New England fan. I just don't like it. Like, just play the fucking game. Like, if they're gonna call it, they're gonna call it. And okay, they miss one, and you want to say something to them, sure, but coming up every damn play, looking for the flag, is just. It's not the football I want to watch. It really isn't. Like, if they could call a penalty on every fucking play, but that's not what we want to see as fans. You know what I mean? Like, it just, you got to do something to curb it, because if they don't, you can already see it's out of control. And you got guys that are going to abuse it and then get calls later in the season or things like that because of who they are. You know, you saw, like we were talking about, Justin Fields got decapitated on a slide and the refs were blind to it. Fuck, you touch Patrick Mahomes 3 feet before he's out of bounds, and they're giving you a hitting out of bounds call. Like, you know, like there's just so much they get, and because the penalty they're probably going to get from it is a heavy penalty, I think the opposite should be fairly equal. Like, don't be begging for penalties. Put it in the unsportsmanlike category where you can get kicked out of a game if you do it too many times. Yeah, like just something. You got to put something down so the players understand you want them to stop it. They do a diving penalty in hockey, so now like in the NHL, you've seen it called more consistently lately because guys were diving to get tripping calls and things like that, or to try and increase a penalty. So they were getting hit certain ways and like semi-flopping. So now you can get an unsportsmanlike, and it's called quite often actually. Yeah, I mean and that's, I think, the thing right now, especially with quarterbacks, is the quarterbacks in the pocket and the roughing the passer calls are always like questionable now, because like you have guys that are barely getting touched and you're getting a roughing the passer. Then you're getting guys that are getting hammered on a good sack and it's roughing the passer. And then you got guys that are getting hammered and it's not a penalty. So it's like the consistency has to be there and the punishment has to be there. And it has to be proper. Like, they really need to just get it under control.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, so one of the things that I think that football should look at, and take it how people want to take it, right? But one of the things football should look at, and you talked about it with hockey. We want to talk about American sports, hockey, the diving. The diving has become a penalty. Look at basketball. Look how many years the key players were getting calls against, like, to protect them. They were not allowed to get penalties. They could travel, everything else. But then the league realized the ratings started to drop because no one wanted to watch it. And now look at James Harden. Led the league last year in penalties because of the traveling calls. Because they said, all right, let's call it no matter what. I don't care who it is, call it. It should be the same standard across the board because Justin Fields doesn't get the calls Patrick Mahomes gets. Baker Mayfield doesn't get the calls Patrick Mahomes gets. Like, if you're going to favor a player, then don't make the rules the way they are. The rules need to be called flat, even across the board. Roughing the passer needs to be brought down a little bit. Stop the oversensitivity of these guys can't take a hit. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah, our pass interference call percentage will be directly and proportional to the standings of you in your division. If you are number 1 in your division, you get more. If you're number 4, you get less. Oh, I know, exactly. And like I said, and I'm a Patriots fan. I had years of Brady, and Brady got some very, very shitty calls, like in his favor.
Oh, Jesus, fuck that. No. Pick the flag up. He was a runner. This is not a penalty. We're just talking about it. He's not a fucking quarterback at this point. He's a runner. Oh, holding. Okay, you can keep that flag.
I was like, let me wait for him to get there.
The penalty's offset, so something was caught on the defense. But he was a runner. And he didn't slide. He did that stupid thing where quarterbacks are going down sideways. I'm like, what? Do you guys not know how to slide? Baker slides beautifully. He might have been hit in the head. I'm waiting. He might have been hit in the head. They're trying to show a replay. Yeah, he was hit in the head. Granted, Levante David was going down for the body because he was up, and then Jalen went down. And
yeah,
again, that's what happens when you have players diving. They're taking slides now. You got players going low before they start to slide, and then they slide right into the headshot. Not that that's not what happened with Justin Fields. Jonathan Owens came clean over the top and decapitated Justin Fields, and it wasn't called. I'm a Packers fan, and I know that should have been called. But whatever. I can't change it now. Sorry, our truth. But anything else for you before we maybe rate? It's not late. Well, it's kind of late.
No, I think I'm good.
We've got over an inch of snow. It's the first time in a long time. I'm giddy happy after going out with the dog.
There you go.
And it's still snowing.
I forgot to mention because it was a couple weeks ago, and I forgot that it happened. But they held what's called the Adirondack Winter Invitational in Lake Placid, which is like a Division I hockey tournament.
Okay.
You know who the winner was?
Is it like, no, I can't guess.
Arizona State University.
Wow. They were drunk playing hockey.
They I think they beat Cornell in the final. They're ranked 15th in the country. Arizona State.
Wow.
As a hockey team, yeah.
Oh, something else did happen. Thank you. I'm glad you kept it going and talked about Arizona State because it made me remember Arizona. University of Arizona's head coach is now the coach of Washington, replacing DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer, yeah.
Yeah. He's a good coach. I actually think he's going to do great things at Washington. He really brought Arizona back to relevancy this year. So, pretty happy about that. Thanks, Dad, for stopping by. Have a good night.
Yes, have a good night. Thank you.
I don't see anyone to read, and I want to read. Do you have anyone?
I have my Twitch hidden. Just give me a second here.
Boogie, go live. You can name it like Suffering Through.
I really don't.
Don't leave us, Boogie. How dare you?
I literally don't have anybody.
Yeah, I'm looking, and I'm not happy about it.
It's tough on like tonight where there's a standalone game too, because a lot of
Oh,
people.
hold on. I got Mr. Krugs. We got Mr.
There you go.
Krugs.
Okay.
Not a big fan of the Fortnite thing, but we'll deal with it because Mr. Krugs is a good egg. All right, guys. So we'll be back. Oh, wait. We got to pick. We can't pick.
Yeah.
This game is supposed to be Saturday, right?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
this has to be the other Sunday game.
Yeah, you got to figure if they're playing
We're
Monday,
Saturday.
they're getting Sunday, right?
Yeah, we're the Saturday. Okay, so we can pick these two again. All right, before we rate, this will change probably, but the first one is Houston and Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens at home for now. I could change it through the week depending on injuries and stuff like that, but I'm taking the Ravens as of right now. Against how I feel, to be honest, because I don't like the 2 weeks off for Lamar. But
yeah, that's like where I'm living right now. It's like Baltimore's like, if I'm going by what I did with Dallas, then I would have to pick Baltimore. Like, who'd you beat? Like everybody that was relevant. Like,
yeah.
And the way they beat them was just the way the Packers beat Dallas. So, I gotta go Baltimore right now. I kind of have this inkling Houston has the potential to cause a massive upset.
Yeah, that's
but
how I feel.
Like if I was picking the 4 games, this one probably has the potential for the biggest upset where I think it can actually happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I still think Baltimore wins this game currently. But yeah, I think of the potential matchups. This has the biggest upset alert.
All right, then the Saturday night game. I love them. I'm proud of them for beating the Cowboys, but I'm taking the 49ers to beat the Packers.
Yeah. I mean, that could they have a good game? Sure. But
we haven't. I don't know the last time we beat the 49ers. I'm going to be 100%. I don't know. It has not been a pretty time against this franchise. I know it's a different era with Jordan Love, but it's still the same 49ers, and it's still Joe Barry calling our defense. So I don't have any hope.
2001.
So 22 years. Almost as long as it's been since the Cowboys have been doing an NFC title game. So, no, I'm good. I'll take the Niners. We just have a terrible history against them. There's nothing else to say about it. Jordan Love looks good right now. The team might look good offensively, but I think our defense is going to get demolished. And Christian McCaffrey could go for like 160 yards and a couple. I mean, Raheem Mostert a few years ago against our defense went for 220-something yards and 3 touchdowns. So what's stopping them from doing it again? I don't know. Just I have to go with the Niners. So unfortunate, but oh well. We'll be back Sunday morning to talk about the Ravens game. I mean, not the Ravens game, the Sunday to games, and then it'll be a short trip. So I'll probably make it noon on Sunday just because it's only 2 games to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back Monday night. But the Sunday show probably is going to end soon because there's not much football. There's no reason to do Sunday and Monday consistently after the games are over. But me and Doc are going to talk about some stuff that I have plans and thoughts and ideas. The ideas can't happen with outside help, so I can't promise the ideas are coming to light. But me and Doc are going to talk about it if he approves of it, which I don't know why he wouldn't. Might be
I just have veto power.
Yeah, you're the only other person I fully trust in my life, really. But yeah, you have veto power. But anyway, we're going to rate Krugs. He's a good dude. He's playing with his wife. I think his wife's the one on stream, maybe? I don't know. They're both on stream. I didn't realize they both had a camera up. I couldn't see them both at the time.
Oh, nice.
So just enjoy them playing Fortnite. They're good people. And we'll be back Sunday morning at 12 at noon Eastern time. And if you guys want to hang out on if you're bored on Wednesday, feel free to join Restart Zone's podcast at 8 p.m. We're not going to be on. We're only a half-hour show, so it's quick, but I don't know. I saw Boogie there last week, so I appreciate you guys. But anyway, we love you guys. We'll see you guys Sunday morning at noon. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Raid was created. Raid went through and stream.